I'm convinced that the best way to learn and grow as an entrepreneur is to study the successful startups that came before you. So to help you do this is my new Startup Success series, where I'll cover the history and lessons from some of the world's leading startups. Today's spotlight: Airbnb. The idea of Airbnb started in 2007. Co-founders Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia were roommates, and they couldn't afford to pay their rent in San Francisco. So in desperation to make money, they had the idea of renting out their air mattress to people attending a design conference nearby. Here's the actual email that started it all. They spun up a quick website, called it airbedandbreakfast.com, bought a few air mattresses, and recruited their old roommate Nathan Bacharczyk to join them. Together, they became 3 co-founders, and Airbnb was born. But these early days for Airbnb were rough. They tried and failed 4 times to get their idea off the ground. Barely anyone would sign up. Their 4th attempt was during the 2008 National Convention in Denver. That weekend, they got 80 bookings and thought they finally made it. But then the week after, they only got 2 bookings, and the week after that, they got none. Their idea was dying, they were broke, so they had to pivot. Since their airbeds were clearly not selling, they decided to focus more on the breakfast part of Airbed and Breakfast. They custom designed Obama and McCain themed breakfast cereals. They glued 1,000 of them together by hand and started selling them as collectibles. And they actually made 30 grand off of this, which was enough to help keep their company afloat. Throughout 2008, they tried to raise money. They approached over a dozen investors, but all of them turned them down. Back then, the idea of renting out your home to strangers was absolutely insane. One investor finally took a chance on them, Paul Graham at YC. And it wasn't the idea itself that got them into YC, but rather their resilience, grit, and hustle as entrepreneurs. It's written that Paul said to them, "You guys are like cockroaches. You just won't die." And he also said, if you guys figured out how to get people to pay $40 for a $4 box of cereal, then maybe, just maybe, you can figure out how to get strangers to live with each other. Day 1 of YC, Brian said he received the best advice that he's ever gotten, which is that it's better to have 100 customers that deeply love you rather than a million people that kind of just like you. This is an important lesson, because most founders focus on scale. If you focus on value instead and building a perfect experience for a more narrow set of customers, those customers will become your marketing engine. You'll be able to start growing rapidly through word of mouth. That's exactly what happened with Airbnb. The founders made it a point to visit their hosts, stay with them, write them glowing reviews, and professionally photograph their apartments. They managed to achieve in 10 years the same amount of growth that took Hilton 100 years to achieve. By 2011, Airbnb was in 89 countries and had gotten over 1 million bookings, valued at $1 billion. And the rest is history. If you found this valuable, follow me for more content like this, and let me know in the comments which company you'd like to hear about next. I'll be choosing from one of those. Bye for now.